It's never too late to change your career because that job don't love you enough to pay for your funeral. Don't forget about the plans to be free because the stability got you comfortable for the moment. If God wasn't late waking you up this morning, then that's all the evidence that you need that it's never too late to show up for what you want to do for yourself. It's never too late to change where you live. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that you've outgrown your city. Sometimes we have ideas that are bigger than the way the people think that are around us. Sometimes your comfort zone is stopping you from having access to the best parts of yourself because there's no need to use those best parts of yourself. You're comfortable. It's never too late to change your relationship. Maybe it's time to consider the fact that it's okay for people to grow apart. Because a lot of the time we holding on to relationships that been died. If the relationship is not growing you, it's slowing you. Enabling them is disabling yourself. It's never too late to change your health. Ask yourself, what is going on? What is it that I'm feeling inside of my body? And what am I doing to create it? It is never too late to change your relationship with God. I think the number one thing that stops people from connecting with God is they think the darkness of their past has made them unworthy to have a conversation with God. Perfection was never a requirement for the assignment of your life. Sometimes the storm is your Uber, your taxi, your one-way ticket to the other side of where you're supposed to be. Oh man, welcome back to the Halfway Up podcast, and I call it Halfway Up because you never finish rising. In today's episode, before I even get into today's episode, I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're feeling good. I hope your credit score looking right. I hope your finances is in order. I hope your baby mama, your girlfriend, or your boyfriend not aggravating you to death. I pray that your friends is all getting along. I pray that you got plans for this weekend. I pray you got plans for this summer. You know, unfortunately, summer is almost up, which is kind of disgusting to say because winter feel like it take a year to go through and then summer get here and then it's gone in an instant, right? But I pray that you are doing things that you can look forward to. I pray that you're doing things to challenge you. I pray that you're doing things to keep you excited. And I pray you're doing things to make you happy and stay happy. You know what I mean? I pray you're doing things that make you feel good. They're just pouring back into yourself. I hope your landlord or whoever you pay rent to not bitching and complaining like mine is. That's a whole other story. We can get into that landlord conversation. But this episode specifically, I felt it in my spirit to have a conversation about the people that want to do something, but they haven't done it yet. And this is a conversation I think can apply to all age ranges, right? It could, for the super young people, the people that's in the middle, I would consider that myself, even though I consider myself a young man. I'm 32. You know what I mean? So the people that's in their 30s, but then also the people that's much older, the people that's in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. This is a conversation I think that'll apply to everybody because everybody has something that they want to do, something that they've been thinking about, they've been dreaming about, they've been aspiring to do, but they haven't done it yet. And everybody got their reasons, I'm sure. Everybody got their reasons. This is not a conversation to put anybody down for not taking initiative and not putting feet on your prayers and putting feet on your dreams, but this is to hopefully create that inspiration and the motivation to get you to take that one step to getting closer to it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got something that they have a huge desire for. Maybe it's a vacation in Italy. Maybe it's, going to spend more time with your parents. Maybe it's spending more time with your grandparents. You know, maybe it's taking a course. Maybe it's going to college again. Maybe it's cutting off somebody that's been in your life for way too long and you know they're not supposed to be your friend and you know that they're holding you back. You know, whatever it is that you might be wanting to do but you haven't done, this episode is going to be a conversation that I hope push you one step in the right direction to making that happen. And so what we're talking about today is it's never too late to change your mind. And that's a very important thing to not just say because it sounds good, but can you really live it though? Do you have the strength to get to a place where you can allow yourself to live that? And I think one of the biggest steps you make to allowing yourself to get there is giving yourself grace and forgiving yourself and understanding that it's no matter what you haven't done so far, it don't got to stop what you can do today. No matter what happened in the past, no matter what mistakes you made in the past, no matter what things that you allow to hold you back because you feel that you are not worthy, it doesn't have to stop you from the potential of the opportunity that can be taken advantage of today, right? It's never too late to change your mind. And a lot of the times we get into our work and we've been at our job for years and we feel like I can't leave my job and go and enroll in school. I'm gonna be the oldest person in the classroom. You know, you feel like I can't leave my relationship. You know, I've been in a relationship for like 7 years now. I'm 45. You know what I'm saying? I'm 32. What I look like leaving my relationship, getting back into the dating market and then starting all over again. Nobody's going to want me. These are the things that people think. And I know this because these are the things that I hear people say, not only on my algorithm and my social media, but just working as an engineer at a podcast studio. I hear many perspectives. I hear the way people feel about a whole lot of things, and that's where the inspiration from this episode came from, because no matter where you're at, I do believe that you can always start, That's how mental slavery works. Mental slavery will have you thinking that it's too late to do what's best for you. But the way I see it is, if God woke you up today, how could it ever be too late? Because God wasn't late on making sure you open your eyes this morning. God made sure that he wasn't late on waking you up, which means that if God not going to be late for you, then that means that you don't need to be late for yourself. Because if God wasn't late waking you up this morning, then that's all the evidence that you need that it's never too late to show up for what you want to do for yourself. It's never too late, As long as you breathing, you got time. As long as you blinking, you got time. As long as you are alive, you got time. And I want this episode to be the inspiration to empower you to claim your power back, because a lot of us think because we've been doing one thing one kind of way for a long time that it's too late for us to pivot and do something else. But regrets is a motherfucker. And again, I think the way you really keep the score in whose life is quality is who has the least amount of regrets. And the only way you can have the least amount of regrets is by making sure you're doing the most things, exploring your ideas, exploring and entertaining your curiosities. That's the only way. And so this episode is for the people that have been wanting to make a change in their life, but they have been hesitating and they've been resistant and reluctant to take the first step because they feel like they passed their prime, or they feel like, that type of blessing and that type of progress or that type of growth is for other people, but not themselves, because they don't look at themselves like they can be the type of person that they actually want to be. I want this to be the excuse to push yourself to understanding that you are and that you can be. It's so many ways that we get caught up in believing that we not worthy. And there's so many ways that we get these chains attached to us that really hold us back in our life. It's fucked up when you think about it. Like when we children, we just born so pure and with these unlimited, untapped levels of creativity and imagination. And then the older that we get, man, we just lose a little piece of it and lose a piece of it and lose a piece of it. And we become less magnetic. We somehow get convinced to step outside of our power the older that we get. And I'm not one of those people that believe that the older that you get, that's just a normal thing, right? I think it happens from a lot of different ways that we can control the minute that we become aware of it, the minute that we become conscious of it, And that's why I think it's so important to make sure you get in the proper rest, make sure you get in the proper hydration, make sure you get in the proper foods and nutrients inside of your body, because these are the things that help lift you up and inspire you to be the best version of yourself. A lot of the time when we thinking it's too late, that's coming from a place of lack, right? And God is about abundance. God is about fruitfulness. God is about infinite and limitless possibilities. So you got to really sit with yourself and ask yourself, where am I really as far as my self-love, right? If my self-love was on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where in that scale am I, right? Because if you believe that, it's too late for you to make a change or for you to walk into a certain direction, what are you missing in your love for self that's stopping you from understanding that you are extremely powerful and anything is possible for you to do right now? You can do it right now, but it's all about mindset, right? Perception is reality. Personality is your personal reality. Is the cup half empty or is it half full? It's only as real as you actually believe it. It's only as real as you actually believe it. You get what I'm saying? And so we have to change the way we think. We have to change our beliefs, because our beliefs are a direct representation of the life that we actually live. Sometimes people think they got a bad life and their life really isn't bad at all, but they think that it's a bad life, which means that it's a bad life. But if we can hit a switch, right? Flip a switch in the room in your mind, then it'll be like, oh, my life is not bad at all. It's just a pivot. It's just a pivot. And that's what I want this episode to be about. I want this episode to be the inspiration to inspire somebody to make the pivot, man. And so when I think about this topic, I was asking myself, what are the things that are probably holding people back the most? Where are people stuck? What are the biggest roadblocks in front of people where they think it's too late for me to make a change in that direction, right? And what I came up with is career, where you live, the relationship that you're in, the status of your health, and your relationship with God. these are like the 5 areas that I think people struggle with the most, where they get stuck behind that wall and they like, I probably can never be more than this. You know what I mean? Like, damn, like I feel so guilty, or I feel so bad, or I have so much shame that like I'm just stuck, right? Like analysis paralysis. I can't do nothing because I feel like I'm not worthy, or I feel like I'm not deserving, or I think that I'll never find better. And I think these are the areas that pertain and relate to people the most. So these are the things that we're going to talk about. I'm sure that one of these things, if not all of these things, is relatable to somebody. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is it's never too late to change your career. It's never too late to decide, you know what? I'm glad and I'm proud of myself for making all the progress that I have made, but I'm just now realizing today that this is no longer the direction that I want to go into. And being confident enough and allowing yourself to be okay with the fact that even though I stepped 600 miles in this one direction, it's never too late for me to realize this is 600 miles in a direction that I no longer want to go into. I actually need to go back, or I need to go to my left, or I need to go to my right, and I need to make a change. Because as I'm growing, I'm learning. And I'm learning more about myself the older that I get. And this new version of myself that I'm becoming, I'm realizing that there's something better for myself. And it's easy to continue to move in one direction because there's ease there. There's a level of comfort there. You thinking to yourself, you know what? I know everybody at my company. My salary is good. You know what I'm saying? I got a decent car. I got a decent apartment. Everything is cool. A lot of people going to choose to stay in their position because you work so hard to get into that spot and you don't want to start over. And that's a very understandable feeling because starting over could be very rough. It could be a very jarring experience to start back over when you done spend so much time creating and building value that now you want me to start with zero value just so I can start and gain the respect of my peers and respect of myself all over again? No. I ain't mad at nobody for coming to that conclusion, right? But only thing I got to say to you is, you want to make sure that you're not going to be mad at yourself in the future by not doing something about changing that now because you know that this is not fitting for where it is that you actually want to be. You get what I'm saying? And maybe the situation is not even people who got the nice car and the nice house. It could be somebody who just been working at Walmart. You've been working at a job that don't even value you. You've been working at a job that don't even allow you to live within your full potential. They don't allow them to be all the colorful sides of who they are as a person. It suppresses you. They don't want your version of greatness. They don't need you for that. All they need you to do is stock them boxes. All they need you to do is mop them floors. All they need you to do is take them phone calls. All they need you to do is file them taxes. All they need you to do is fill out that paperwork. That's all they need you to do. When really there might be a calling inside of you as a person that you could do some incredible things. If you feel that, if there's something inside of you that feels like I'm capable of doing so much more, I want this to be the reminder to take that first step. And sometimes, listen, depending on what your life look like, you know what I mean? You might not have nobody that can support you. You might not have nobody's couch you can sleep on and nobody that you can fall back on. You might not have that level of support. What I want to tell you is you got to keep praying about it, and you got to keep doing your information, and you got to really get into your bag of discipline because somewhere, somehow, some way, you're going to have to take that first step if you want to see that change. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody coming to give you a bag and be like, yo, here's $1 million, go figure it out for yourself. You have to be the bag yourself. You have to create that opportunity for yourself. And sometimes that might mean pulling back on the extra spending that I've been doing so I could put something in a little rainy day fund, right? So when I get ready to step out on this job, I got a couple of dollars to give me a little time so I can figure it out. You might have to do that because what you don't want to do is go through this life and look back and realize I could have did something. I could have made a change along the way, but I was scared. And I want to let you know it's nothing wrong with being scared, but there is something wrong with allowing your fear to stop you from knowing. Because the regret from not knowing, that's a whole different ball game I don't think you're ready for. I don't think nobody really ready for that because that pain, that fear, that regret, it continues to eat at you. It don't go away until you fulfill it or find acceptance in just where you are and accepting, you know what? I could have did something different in my life and I didn't. I don't want nobody to feel like that though. And I think regardless of your age, no matter what age you are, it's never too late for you to make the change. I don't care if you're standing on your feet all day at your job. I don't care if you're mopping floors. I don't care if you're a nanny. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care what it is that you actually do. I want you to know that it's never too late for you to decide, I don't want this for the rest of my life. I got 20, 30 years left in my life, 40, 50 years of my life, 10 years left in my life. I think it's wise for you to invest that energy to get you one step closer to some things that you know you don't want to leave this earth without saying that you did. That's what I think. It's never too late to change your career. Your career don't own you. Your career is not your identity. Your career doesn't have rights to your life and your future. That's the tricky thing about these jobs. A lot of the time they make you think that you belong to them. They make you think that you got to get their permission to do everything in life. Because you got to ask them if you can go on vacation. You got to let them know 2 weeks in advance. Because you got to ask them if you can get this day off because your brother's having his child or your sister's having their first child, or it's a family member having a birthday, or it's a vacation, or you want to go out and get drinks. Your job will let you know what you can and cannot do. And sometimes they can make you feel like you're not free. Sometimes your job can make you feel like you don't have the freedom that you actually have. But I want this to be the reminder: claim your freedom back. Because that job don't love you enough to pay for your funeral. That job don't love you enough to give you a year off so you can take care of your baby when you have your first child. That job don't love you enough to support you in your times of darkness. That job don't love you that much. I understand that it's all about a balance, right? Sometimes we gotta not take a vacation, or sometimes we gotta just go with the flow with our job to keep shit steady for the moment. But you gotta be thinking about the future, because this job has no future plans for you. They got no future plans for you. As soon as you leave, they're going to fill your spot with another one, and they're going to keep shit going. A lot of the time we're afraid to change our career because we sleepwalking. We've been doing this thing for so long, going to work, getting off of work, going to work, getting off of work. It becomes autonomous. It becomes something you can do effortlessly. And a lot of time we switch into that autonomy because it's a survival mechanism. Sometimes just to keep your head on straight, just to keep your head above water, you can't even think about this shit no more, because you've been doing the same thing for 3-4 years, going to work, coming home, going to sleep, going back to work, repeating, not seeing nothing new. Variety is the spice of life, not seeing no different changes. And it's important that you check in with yourself and ask yourself, am I sleepwalking right now? Am I fully awake? And am I fully aware of where I'm driving us, right? Because a lot of the time, man, we just on autopilot just to keep shit going, because really being too present in the day-to-day is depressing. Sometimes it's depressing looking at your life and realizing that I've been at this company for 5 years and I got nothing to show for. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't got no money saved. I don't got no money to help anybody. If an emergency comes, it's going to wipe me out, and I'm going to need somebody's help because I can't even help myself. Sometimes it's depressing to think about that. So what we do, we just keep our head down and we just stay in the motion. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do to keep shit floating, right? Sometimes you got to follow orders and submit to the structure before you can get to the freedom. But you got to keep your mind focused on the freedom. Don't forget about the freedom because you used to going to work every single day. Don't forget about the plans to be free because the stability got you comfortable for the moment. If you happy with your stability and you happy where you at in your life, then this conversation is not for you. Pay it no mind. But this is for the people that know that they have bigger plans. This is for the people that know that where they at right now was only supposed to be temporary. They wasn't supposed to stay here as long as they stayed here. And I'm not saying that to judge you. You had to do what you had to do and you've been doing it, but let this be the wake-up call. Let this be the reminder, like, yo, we still got work to do. There was still a mission. There was still a plan. And we haven't finished that yet. We haven't seen that all the way through yet. Because sometimes you got to wake up and realize the money that you're getting from your company is not enough to keep you quiet. It's not enough to keep you docile. It's not enough to keep you limited. Sometimes we working for this money, but they won't even let you go on a vacation. You could put your 2 weeks in to go on a vacation and them niggas will dead ass tell you no. You get what I'm saying? Them niggas are dead ass ask you to work all the overtime in the world. But as soon as you got a problem, they won't do nothing to help you solve it. So we got to keep a healthy relationship between ourselves and our careers and ask ourselves what's really more important. And is my career meeting me all the way in the middle for what actually aligns with who I am and what I want today and tomorrow? Because if it doesn't, you got to keep your options open to a certain degree. You got to, because they're not even paying you what you think your worth is. They're not even investing you. They're not even investing in you in a way that matches how you see yourself and where you see yourself wanting to be. And because of that, it doesn't mean that you are unloyal to the people that pay you, but it does mean that you have to be a little bit more loyal to yourself first. You have to be loyal to yourself first, because when the company decide that you're not a good fit for them no more, they just gonna get rid of you and throw you in and replace you with somebody else. And you gotta ask yourself, is that the type of people that I wanna be loyal to? Is that the type of cause, the type of corporation that I wanna be following and giving all of my time to? Because you gotta remember, we all living with very limited time. The time that we got is not forever. Some of us gonna go away sooner than others. And don't none of us know. Don't none of us know. I might have 5 years left in this bitch, legitimately, realistically, while somebody else might have 10. Some of our friends, some of our family members, some of our peers, we are talking and dealing and brushing shoulders with people today that might not be here 2 years from now. And I don't say that to scare nobody, but I say that to say, before you give all of the best that you have to your company, make sure your company is giving the best that they have to you. And if they're not, let that be a motivation for you to fearlessly walk into the direction that best suits you, that makes the most sense for you. You get what I'm saying? Because your time, there's no company in the world that can pay you properly for that. No matter what they paying you, it can never be worth the value of your time. It'll never be worth the value of your time. So make sure that whatever they paying you, that it's worth what you giving them in exchange. There's an exchange going on. There's your time, which is priceless, and then there's the money that they're giving you. And the dollar is losing value every single motherfucking day. So make sure that you understand that it's never too late to change your career, no matter how long you've been at your company, no matter how long you've been at that job, no matter how long you've been surviving underneath your bitch ass boss or your bitch ass manager. It is never too late to create an escape plan for yourself so that you can get what you actually deserve to have. Never. The second thing I want to talk about is never too late to change where you live. And this is a really interesting one to me, right? Because we always hearing these conversations about people complaining about where they from. The job market's not good where they from. The dating pool is bad where they from. All the people are fake. It's this crab in the bucket mentality where they from. There's not enough opportunities where they from. But then they don't go nowhere. They don't do nothing to change their environment. They're the type of people that they always complain about where they at, but not gonna do nothing to get them outside of it, to experience the rest of the world. I wanna let you know that no matter how much you hate your city or how much you love your city, you do not belong to your city. That's just where you came from, whatever dimension that you came from when you got into the earth between your mother's legs. That's just the place that you landed at. And that in itself is a beautiful thing. But no corner of this earth owns you. No corner of this earth owns you. The only person that owns you is God. And God made this whole world, meaning that there's no place on it you should not be able to have access to, as long as they ain't gonna kill you and kidnap you when you get there. You get what I'm saying? This earth is a beautiful place. And it has so many things to offer, so many colors, so many climates, so many different types of people, so many views, so many opportunities. Do not allow your fear of experiencing something new stop you from ever knowing what's on the other side, because that's the level of regrets that's going to haunt you later on in your future. It's important to understand that you don't belong to your city. You belong to yourself and you belong to God. And with God, there's nowhere on this earth that you can't go. There's nowhere on this earth that you can't go because the earth belongs to you. And the possibilities of what you're capable of is limitless. A lot of the time we allow ourselves to be stuck in these cities as if the cities have ownership over our lives, as if we owe something to the city. Listen, if you really want to do something for your city, why don't you get you some money and then reinvest into your city? And that's how you can show your love and your appreciation for your city. But your city doesn't own the right to keep you there. And that's not a good excuse to never see what the rest of the world has to offer. Listen, if you want to stay in your city, stay there, because every city deserves to be filled with good, confident, and reliable people. Every city needs that. But these are for my people who have a curiosity for more things. You get what I'm saying? How long are you going to wait? How many times are you going to hear another story about somebody who left their city and went to another one and they landed on their feet? All the things that you're scared of. People had to go through those things and it didn't kill them. So many people have left their cities and took the risk and, faced the challenge, and they survived it. They persevered through it. Take myself, for example. I am from Texas. I'm from Dallas. And I always had a dream to come to New York City. I didn't know exactly how I was going to make that happen because I didn't have just a bunch of money laying to the side that I could transition over here with. So I had to take some risk. I had to come here with not as much money as I would like. I had to stay with some people that I wish that I didn't have to stay with. I had to sleep on some couches. I had to do some work for free. I had to do some things, but it all made sense to develop it into the place that I am right now. It was a necessary sacrifice to make on the front end so I can enjoy the luxury on the back end. And now I went from working a job being a security officer, working at Walmart, working at the mall, to being at a podcast studio. And this is something I never could have seen for myself if I didn't take that risk. So the risk is the key to the door on the other side of transformation. The risk that you're afraid to take is the key needed to go through the door to get to the other side of transformation. It all starts with the risk. And a lot of the time, when it comes to leaving our city, we're afraid to do it because we can't imagine the risk that we might have to make. We're afraid of that because comfort is so non-threatening. Comfort is so non-challenging. And there's nothing wrong with being comfortable. But what I'm saying is that the comfort that you're feeling right now is possibly stopping you from experiencing the excitement that you're really looking for and that you really need in your life right now. Sometimes we have ideas that don't represent the people that are around us. Sometimes we have ideas that are bigger than the way the people think that are around us. Sometimes we have desires. Sometimes we have creativity that's not relatable to the people that are around us. Sometimes you can be born in a city where people don't think as big as you. Sometimes you could be born in a city where people don't want as many things in life as the things that you want for yourself. And sometimes we are influenced by the places that we're born in. Sometimes we're influenced by the people that we got to see on a day-to-day basis, the people that we got to talk to on a day-to-day basis, the people that we got to listen to on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes you have outgrown the people in the environment that's in your city. And in order for you to get somewhere else around the people that think like you, the people that feel like you, the people that move like you're going to have to take a risk and leave your city. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that you've outgrown your city. It's nothing wrong with admitting that, you know what? I done walked all these streets. I've driven around a lot of these streets. I've taken the bus around a lot of these streets. I've worked a lot of jobs here. I made a lot of friends here. I've been to a lot of parties here. I think I'm ready for something new. I'm curious. I'm curious to know what it's like in Miami. I'm curious to know what it's like in Los Angeles. I'm curious to know what it's like in New York City. I'm curious to know what it's like in Chicago. I'm curious to know what it's like in Paris, in Senegal. You get what I'm saying? In Ghana. You can go anywhere. All you need is money and a plan, and you don't need all the money in the world. So many of us, including myself, left the cities that we were from and went to another city. We didn't have it all figured out. I'm not saying that you should, leave your crib with no money. Be smart about it. But at the same time, I want to let you know that so many people have done what you're afraid to do. Look at us and realize that there are people that didn't even have it all figured out and they still landed on their feet. It's not to say that some days weren't hard. There were a lot of difficult days. There were days that I went through that people that love me know nothing about, right? Because that was part of what I had to experience in order for me to become the man that I desire to be. Because sometimes all you need is a fresh start. Sometimes the fresh start that you get from leaving the city that you're currently in and going to the places that you actually dream of being in is the thing that's going to allow you to have them creative thoughts, to get the ball rolling. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to be pushed at your comfort zone to become the animal that you're truly capable of becoming. So you can be forced to make connections. So you can be forced to be a personable person. So you can be forced to be confident. Sometimes your comfort zone is stopping you from having access to the best parts of yourself because there's no need to use those best parts of yourself. You're comfortable. Sometimes you're not even motivated to be the best version that you could possibly be because there's no need to do that. You get what I'm saying? It's okay to leave. It don't matter how many people want to say you fake. It don't matter how many people want to say you're not real because you left. Whose life are you living? Theirs or your own? You can't live your life based on the opinions of what others think about you. Them people don't even love you enough to even help you see what you want to see in your life. So why would you allow their thoughts to be a prison and to be a rope and a chain to limit you and hold you back? If you feel like you've outgrown your neighborhood and your city and the state that you're living in, and you have a curiosity to discover more, let this be the motivation and the allowance and the reminder to take that first step and go see the world, man. Go see the world, my nigga. Go see the world. Go see what this life has to offer. You tired of your friends holding you back, your friends don't want more for themselves, and they cool with just doing what they've always been doing? Take a risk and go somewhere else. Meet some new friends. Meet some people who want the things that you want, and they're currently doing everything they can right now, actively, to get it. Because those people are out there. They are like-minded people that feel just the way that you feel, and y'all might need each other. Y'all might need to be on each other's team to get to where it is that both of y'all trying to go. Both of y'all might have different pieces of the puzzle to help complete the picture. And sometimes you won't realize that because you're too afraid and too comfortable being where you've always been. Allow yourself to have permission to realize that it's okay to want more. Wanting more doesn't make you fake. Wanting more doesn't make you not a real person. What's the worst that can happen? At least, even if it don't work out, at least you have something interesting to put on your resume when you're having conversations with people, and you just feel better about yourself because you know that you did that. Oh man, the third thing I want to talk about is never too late to change your relationship. If your relationship is not making sense anymore, that spark that used to be ain't been around for a long ass time, maybe it's time to consider the fact that it's okay for people to grow apart. It's okay to come to a place of realism that, you know what, me and this person been rocking for a lot of time. We've been rocking for a lot of years, but I think that we might be holding each other back right now. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of moves, a lot of chances that I could have taken, that I would have taken in my life had I not been considering the thoughts of somebody else who don't want as much in life as me. And that doesn't make you a bad person for coming to grips with that. And they don't got to be a bad person for wanting what feels comfortable to them. You got to understand, when the relationship is right, what you want and what they want don't always got to conflict all the time. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't got to feel so hard. Not to say that relationships don't go through challenges, because of course they do, but challenge in a relationship has to come with purpose. It has to feel purposeful, right? It has to feel like it's a struggle for the greater good of tomorrow. It's a struggle that's happening today for the greater good for tomorrow. And if it doesn't feel like that, you have to ask yourself, is this purposeful? Or am I just struggling and going through anxiousness and anxiety in vain? Because a lot of the time we holding on to relationships that been died. Because a lot of the time these relationships that we in, they been died. We just got to take it off of life support and just let the death happen. You got to let the death happen and not be afraid of that. Because just because this relationship comes to an end doesn't mean that that person got to become your enemy now. But see, that take real growth and maturity. You got to be in a real significant place in your life where you can accept the fact that you can walk away from this person. And you know what? Sometimes maybe they're not in a place where they can be okay with that. Maybe they're not in a place where they can be okay with that. But that doesn't mean that you wait for them, though. Oh, man. Just because, listen, if you are at a place in your life and you understand that the relationship that you're in right now, it don't serve you no more, do not let the fear of how your partner will react stop you. Because, bro, if you don't make this change for yourself, you think they gonna make it? They love you. They get some type of benefit from you being around, right? Both of y'all know the relationship ain't shit. Both of y'all know that this shit ain't working. This rough patch that y'all been in, been going on for a couple years now. It's not a rough patch, bro. It's the lifestyle. It is the energy. And maybe you can go to therapy, you can work it out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all can go through that, because I'm not trying to break up no homes. But what I am saying is, don't be afraid to be real with yourself and allow yourself to be comfortable with the idea of doing what's best for you, because sometimes you can't save yourself and them. Sometimes you can't save both people. And it doesn't mean you want them to die. It doesn't mean that you want them to drown, but it is to say like, hey, yo, maybe I could be of a better help or a better service to you after I help myself first. You get what I'm saying? It's never too late to change your relationship. It's never too late, because staying in something toxic is really having a toxic relationship with yourself, because you're only hurting you. You're only hurting yourself. And sometimes we allow ourselves to be second so we can put the wrong person first. Man, y'all don't hear me, man. Sometimes we put ourselves second to put the wrong person first. And I understand that when you love somebody, you got to be selfless. When you love somebody, you got to have a giving heart. So that's a very necessary part to have a fruitful relationship. But after some time, you shouldn't be putting yourself second forever, because you still the main character in your story. No matter how much you give, you still are the main character in your story. And the main character, come on. And the main character got a story to finish. It's okay for you to walk away from a situation that don't feel right anymore. You know what your heart is telling you. You know what your mind is telling you. You know what your spirit is telling you. You know what it's telling you. Is your relationship stopping you from exploring the city that you want to see? Is your relationship stopping you from leaving the job that you know doesn't fulfill you anymore? Is your relationship stopping you from hanging out with those people and making new friends and connections? Stopping you from taking a risk that could potentially make your life better? Is your relationship stopping you from becoming the best version of you? Because if so, I want to let you know it's never too late to change your relationships. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you love them less. It just means that you love yourself more. And sometimes I can't love me and love you at the same time. I can't prioritize the love that I need for myself and prioritize the love that you require from me. Sometimes I can't do both. And the real answer is, if they're not right for you, then that means you're not right for them. They just don't know it, because they're just too caught up in the convenience of what they get from the relationship. They're too caught up in the convenience that they get out of the relationship. But that's also not your problem. Enabling them is disabling yourself. Sometimes enabling your partner is disabling yourself. And even if they think that they love being with you so much, how can they love somebody who's not showing up as their full potential? That's not real love. If the relationship is not growing you, it's slowing you. It's slowing you down. It's stopping you from reaching your full potential. And let me tell you something. You was born into this world by yourself. You're going to die in this world by yourself. You came here alone. You're going to leave here alone. So at the end of the day, family is everything, but all you have is yourself, and you can't even be the best contributor to your family if you're not all the way right. If your cup not all the way full, how are you going to pour into somebody else's stuff? How you going to pour into, if your cup not all the way full, how you going to pour into somebody else's cup? You got to get yourself right first. And once again, change doesn't always have to mean it's the end, right? The relationship might change because it's what makes the most sense and it's what's best for y'all right now. But it doesn't mean that you never got to talk to this person ever again. It doesn't mean that you can't be there. It doesn't mean that you can't be there for them when they need you, right? You can still be a friend. You can still be one phone call away. You can still be a family member to this person in some type of capacity. It just has to change. And change is necessary. Sometimes the change that we hate the most is the most beneficial to our growth. You get what I'm saying? A lot of us scared to fall on the ground. And that's the reason why your ass can't get higher than the position that you're at right now, because your ass too afraid to fall. It's never too late to change your relationship. It's never too late, because you can't love them more than you have the love, because you can't love them more than you love yourself. And deep down, if you know that it's not working no more. It's not doing what it used to do no more. Yeah, we crack a little. Yeah, we can still laugh about shit. Yeah, we still got memories, but sometimes all motherfuckers got is history and memories. What about your future? You got the history and the memories. You got that already, don't you? What about the future part? Don't you want that too? It's only one way you're going to get it. And if that person is holding you back, you got to find a way to be brave enough to let them go. Not only for themselves, but for you. Not only for yourself, but for them, because they deserve that too. And maybe they not strong enough to release you. Somebody got to be the stronger person. It's never too late to change your relationship, bro. I don't care how long you've been in that relationship. If it don't make sense no more, it just don't make sense anymore. The fourth thing that I want you to understand is it's never too late to change your health. So many of us have grew up in houses and grew up in families where we had aunts pass away and uncles pass away and our mothers and our fathers taking 100 different pills, and we watching our families' bodies change, and the older they become weaker, and they become less like the version that we've always known them to be when we was kids growing up, right? And a lot of us have had the privilege to watch our family members' habits, and we watched the things that they did, and we saw the choices that they made, and then we see where they are today, and we can draw a correlation and we can create a thread into understanding how they might have got there, right? And even though a lot of us saw the choices that our families made that helped them get to the place that they are today, some of us are still struggling to not do the exact same thing and repeat those mistakes and to repeat those steps. We saw the food choices. We saw the type of food that was cooked into the house. We saw all the food that was cooked in the house on holidays and Thanksgivings and Christmases and birthday parties. And then we seen the way grandma passed. We seen the way grandpa passed. We see the way our aunt passed. We see the way our uncle passed. We see the way our parents passed. We see the diseases that exist within our families and don't exist within others, right? We see these things. We saw how mom was smoking cigarettes and now she got lung cancer. You know, we saw how dad was drinking all the time and now he got kidney failure. We saw these things. And sometimes, even though we saw what led to the demise and what created the sickness within our families, we can't help but follow in those exact same footsteps. And for whatever reason that is, I'm not here to judge you, but I am here to enlighten you and empower you and remind you that it's never too late to change your health. We done all ate shitty food. We done all drunk liquor till we blacked out on a many of nights. We done all did things that are technically not good and healthy for our bodies. But that doesn't mean that you can't make a decision that can change everything starting today. Starting right now. Because a lot of us didn't really understand what it means to be healthy until we got older, you know? And a lot of us didn't really understand the serious ramifications of the way we was living our life until we ended up in the hospital. It's like you knew the cheeseburger and the bacon and the candy and the popsicles and the fucking toaster strudels. You know all that shit wasn't good for you, but you ain't know it was gonna have your ass possibly dying, possibly catching cancer. You know, we didn't think like that. You know, so a lot of us is just realizing how unhealthy these foods were. We knew that they wasn't good for you, but we didn't know that it could possibly cause you to become sick and possibly drive you into an early grave. We didn't know that. But as we're learning these things and as we're starting to realize, because we're looking across the field and we're looking at our family, we're looking at our friends, we're looking at social media and we seeing the effects of these toxic behaviors. You know, ignorance really is bliss. When you don't know no better, nobody can expect you to do better. But a lot of us is getting to that place where we know better. And I want to let you know, it's never too late to change your health. You can do something different, bro. You can do something different about your life. Because one thing for sure, all of us going to be praying, asking God for a second chance when we in that hospital and the doctor telling us we only got so long to live. I don't want to be in that place if I can avoid it. And the first thing about changing your health is about being honest about that thing that you feeling inside of your body. The body communicating to everybody. That feeling that you keep feeling, pay attention to that. That thing that that weird pain that you keep feeling, or that weird feeling in your shoulder or in your foot or in your chest or in your heart, or the headaches that you got, you know, these things is your body communicating to you like, hey, yo, pay attention to us. Because if you ignore that, it's going to eventually grow into a place where you can't ignore it. You know, ignoring things in your body is a luxury, right? Because your ass not in the hospital yet. And that's at the point where you can't ignore it. You don't got a choice. It done got so serious, it can't be avoided. You get what I'm saying? And if you're not at that place yet, I want to let you know you have an opportunity to make a difference and make a change. And the first thing you got to do is sit with yourself and ask yourself, what is going on? What is it that I'm feeling inside of my body? And what am I doing to create it? What am I doing to allow that to even happen? If you've been feeling something in your body for months at a time, there's possibly something that you're doing that if you stop doing it, you probably won't feel that feeling anymore, you know? And that might come at the price of you not having your favorite food, or you not getting drunk as often as you would like, or you not smoking as often as you would like. Maybe it comes at the price of that, but ask yourself, what's more valuable? The price of your convenience or the price of your longevity? The price of this convenience or the price of you having a quality life? And a quality life is feeling good in your body so you can get the most that your body has to offer you. Because your body is an incredible thing. Without this body, you can't do any of the incredible things that God has blessed you and made you capable of doing. You can't do that if you don't got a body to do it in. So you got to ask yourself, what are you more afraid of losing? The convenience of smoking how I like, drinking how I like, eating how I like, living this life the way I like, or the potential of me feeling good? And when I feel good, I think good. And when I think good, I create good. And when I create good, I get good money. I feel good, so my family feels good. My family feels good because we live in a good, peaceful house. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's more important to you? Because everything is about exchange. There's nothing in this life that you can't do without exchanging something for it. So make sure, just like I said about the job, you're exchanging your time for the money. Is the money worth your time? Because if not, then you need to continue on your journey and find something that feels like it's comparable enough to the pricelessness of your time. You need to be doing things that feel comparable to the pricelessness of your health. We claim our power back when it comes to our health when we focus on the small things we can do to get us closer to how we actually want to feel. You know, it's all about the small choices that contribute to bad health over time. Bad health today comes from thousands of small choices yesterday that helped you get here. In the same way you got to bad health, you can reverse it. You can make a bunch of small good choices that eventually create a good feeling body, a good feeling mind, a good feeling energy, a good feeling person. Because health is your foundation. Think about a house that's not born on a solid foundation. Eventually, it will fall when the weather comes. It will fall when the wind blows. It will fall when the earth shakes. It'll fall. But when the foundation is strong, it can resist and it can outlast and it can survive some shit. It's the same thing for your body. You can't expect your body to survive certain things when the foundation is not built right. I'm not saying you can't have a good life. I'm not saying you can't have your drink. I'm not saying you can't have the food that you like. I'm not saying you can't have fun. Because what's a life without fun? More important than this, be disciplined and be very rigid about what you eat. I think it's more important to have fun. I think the most important part to your diet is the stress. More important than the cheese, more important than the meat, the stress. The stress gonna be the first thing that kill you. I believe that. But I also believe that you gotta be mindful and you can't be a fool. You can't lie to yourself either. You can't pretend that certain shit gonna be good for you just because you like the way it tastes. You can't pretend. And everything is about moderation, right? It's never too late to change your health. Never too late. You are in control of your life. As long as you breathing, as long as you got out of bed and you put your feet on the ground, as long as you put your keys through that car, as long as you walk through that job, as long as you have freedom, you have the power to make a difference in your own life. And the person that you're supposed to be tomorrow needs the person that you are today to get there. And the fifth thing, the most important thing, it is never too late to change your relationship with God. I think the number one thing that stops people from connecting with God is they think the sins that they've committed and the darkness of their past and, you know, the bad choices that they made has made them unworthy to have a conversation with God. You know, I think people have convinced themselves that they're not worthy to even talk to God because of how fucked up, because of the choices that they made in the past. You know what I mean? Like they living in their shadow and it's so dark in their shadow that they think that they're not worthy to see the light of God. And I want to let you know that that is not the case. That is not true, because more powerful than evil is the power of love. Love is so powerful, man. There are people that are forgiving people for doing terrible things to them. It doesn't mean that they trust them, and it doesn't mean that they have forgotten about what was did to them, but love is so powerful that a mother could look her son's murderer in the face and say, I forgive you. It's happened. It's been documented. We've seen it. We've heard this. And so That type of love, that type of power can only come from God. The love that we feel and we express as human beings is only an extension of where the love comes from, right? It comes from the person that created us, the entity. It comes from the spirit, the being that created us. And so I want you to know, a lot of the time, we feel like we can't get closer to God because we feel like we can't escape the pain that haunts us every single day. You know, we can't escape the regrets of our bad decisions in the past. And that's why we feel like we can't get closer to God. But I want to let you know, yes, you can. You can always change your relationship with God because God's not going nowhere. Perfection was never a requirement for the assignment of your life. Whatever your job is on this earth to do, perfection was not part of the application for you to be hired. It was never part. It was never part. So don't hold yourself to a standard that God don't hold your own self to, because you're holding yourself back. Sometimes you can be the thing that's holding you back the most. Sometimes it's not your friends. Sometimes it's not your city. Sometimes it's you, because you've convinced yourself of what you're not worthy of. But God said you're worthy of all things. You're worthy of anything that you want. You can always change your relationship with God, because you got to understand, no matter where you at with your religion, as long as you got faith, you can start. Just because you don't read the Bible every day don't mean you're not worthy of God's love. Just because you don't read the Quran every day does not mean you're not worthy of God's love. Just because you don't read the Torah every day does not mean you are not worthy of God's love. It does not mean that you are not worthy. You are still God's child. We are all God's children. Some of our children are closer to God because they're constantly working on their relationship with God. And that's the thing the reason why a lot of us feel like we lost or we're disconnected from God is because our relationship not strong enough. And what's the first way you build strength in any relationship? By communication. The only way you got close to your best friend, the only way you got close to your intimate partner is because y'all talked and y'all continued to talk and y'all started to learn more about each other. And over time you felt closer because you grew a deeper bond. We all know what it's like to be hotboxing in the car or having a late night with that one person and y'all just sharing y'all secrets. And then y'all get close to one another. That's how you build friendship. And a lot of us don't feel connected, or we feel like we can't change our relationship with God is because we don't have a friendship with God. But I'm going to tell you something. If you feel lost or you feel like you're not as close to God as you think that you should be, just start talking to God. Just start talking to God. Whether you're getting on your knees and you're doing it at your bedside, or you walk in the streets, or you driving in the car with your eyes open, talk to God. Tell God what you need. Tell God what you're struggling with, because God hears you. The best advice I ever got when it comes to spirituality is try God, test God, tell God what you need, tell God what you want, tell God what you're struggling with. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid don't be afraid to ask God to prove to you that God is real, because that's exactly what's going to happen. If you ask God to prove to you that God is real, that is exactly what is going to happen. And maybe it doesn't happen today, and maybe it doesn't happen tomorrow. But you know when it does happen? At the right time. The perfect time. It happens at the perfect time. It's never too late to change your relationship with God. Never. Because God loves you too much to judge you. God doesn't want to keep you out of the circle of love. We keep ourselves out of the circle of love because we've convinced ourselves we're not worthy to be in it. And it's not true. A lot of people feel lost because they just not connected with the big homie. And I promise you, you can get back connected real easily just by having them conversations, building a relationship with God, creating that intimacy with God, bringing God in on your life, telling God what's really going on. God know, but it feels good when you bring somebody in. You know, it feels good because that's really how you create that level of security and that rapport. That's how you create that. Everybody don't find God in the church either. God don't wait on people to go into the church to show you that He's real. I don't care where you at. There's nowhere you can't go in this world where God can't reach you. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes maybe you don't got with it, and maybe you're not in a place in your life where you're ready to walk through those church doors yet. Maybe you're not in a place in your life where you're ready to walk into the mosque. Maybe you're not in a place in your life where you're ready to walk into the synagogue, right? God can meet you where you at until you're ready. God can meet you where you at until God called you to meet Him at His house. You get what I'm saying? God can meet you where you at until God is ready for you to meet you at God's house. Understand that there's no place on earth God can't reach you, and there's nobody that God can't reach you through. Sometimes God might reach you through the man who's homeless. Sometimes God might reach you through the person who's been a known fuck up, the black sheep of the family. God can reach you through your teachers, through your employees, through your students, through your enemies. There's nothing God can't use to convey a message to you. And I want you to understand that whenever you're ready for God to come get you and talk to you, you let God know and watch what happens. Watch what happens when you finally put your hands up and you surrender and you tell God, I need help and I need you to come talk to me. Watch what God come do. Being worthy of God's love is not about having a flawless track record. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having this squeaky clean image. It's not about that at all. You think about the stories in the Bible, it's mad people in the Bible, they had very dirty past. They were doing very dirty things and God used them for greatness. God created great men out of them yet, great women out of them yet. So it's not about being perfect, you know? And sometimes religion does a really good job at pushing people away because they feel like they can't be part of the game. They feel like they can't be part of the team. But as long as you got love in your heart, you are qualified. A lot of the time we be so deep in our mess, we be so deep in these storms that we be in that we feel like we can't reach God and that God can't reach us. But sometimes the storm is what God used to show you that God is real. Everything that feels bad or feels uncomfortable or that is challenging is an opportunity for God to teach you something new about yourself. God is trying to push you to become somebody that God needs you to be, to do the thing that you're supposed to do before you check out and leave this earth. Sometimes the storm is your Uber, your taxi, your one-way ticket to the other side of where you're supposed to be. Sometimes comfort don't allow you to be where you're supposed to go. Sometimes failure is the thing needed to snap you out of this hypnotism that you've been in so you can wake up and actually realize what you need to do, what actually needs to happen so you can break free. Break free from the relationship, break free from the city that you're living in, break free from the career path, break free from the bad habits that cause you to sabotage your health. Sometimes you got to fail to break free. It's never too late to make a change in your life, man. It's never too late. That's all I'm really trying to say. All I'm trying to say is it's never too late. And I hope that some part of this conversation was helpful to you. And I hope that some part of this conversation was inspiring. And you know what? If these messages are not for you, send this to the person that you know that could use it. Because I'm really trying to create a community of people that feel the same way that I feel. You know, I want more friends. I want more family members. I'm somebody who left his home to travel far and to create, you know, new experiences for myself. So I'm not done making friends and I'm not done adding people to my family. And I want this halfway up culture to be a place where like-minded people can come together. I want to start making events at some point. I want to start having, you know, family gatherings of the people that have a like-mindedness, you know, the people that feel the same way. I want us to get together and create community. I want us to get together and share resources and I want it to be like a fraternity. You know, I want us to just help each other in all the ways that we can help. You get what I'm saying? And my contribution to that is just hopefully inspiring you and reminding you that it's never too late to make the type of change that you want to make for yourself. That's it, man. If this was valuable to you, if this episode was good for you, please like and subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't, come follow me on Instagram. Please come send me a message on Instagram. If you made it this far into the episode, send me a DM and let me know. I want to create a list of people that make it to the end of the episodes, and I want to put y'all in a very special category when I sell t-shirts or when I'm selling different products or when I release the book that I've been working on, when I have these in-person events. You know, I want y'all to be in a VIP class because y'all are the people that made it to the very bottom. And I don't say that to discount the support that anybody is willing to give to this podcast, because if you're giving support, I appreciate it and it's all needed. And I believe you deserve something special as well. If you're a supporter, you're a supporter. But for the supporters that make it to the end, please come find me on Instagram at _WOLFTAYLOR, Wolf Taylor, and send me a message and let me know that you made it to the end of the episode so I can keep you in mind. Please. Some people have actually reached out and let me know. Reach out and let me know again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to add y'all to this list because I want to help. And, you know, I hope this message and this conversation is helpful to y'all. And with that being said, man, it's a block party going on in Brooklyn. I'm about to hook up with my man Cinque. We about to go see what's going on. Shout out to Cinque. Shout out to his brother Matt. I'm about to go link up with them. Hopefully get some good food. I shouldn't be spending any money, but I'm probably going to spend just a little bit. It's life, man. It is what it is. I'm just trying to live it to the fullest, man, to the best of my ability. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to this. You already know the religion, the outro, the spirit of the brand. Whenever I'm working, I will remember that done is better than perfect. And if I'm satisfied with my work, then that means that I'm living in my purpose. Halfway up. Love you guys. Till next time. Peace.